Do we want to
say it all together?
How do you want to mark it, Brianna?
What do you want to say?
Okay, hang on. I gotta like prepare myself.
It's like every time we have to do the script part, we all freak out.
All right, shake it off. Shake it off. Here we go.
Okay, ready? Hello, and welcome to Spooky Sips, where we put our love of horror movies into a podcast and sip some spirits along the way. I'm one of your hosts, Yvette, here with my co-hosts, Laura and Brianna.
Hello.
Hey. Okay, so we just finished watching Franken-Weenie. This is the short that came out in 1984. It was the early days of Tim Burton. I believe that he was pretty young when this came out, like mid-20s or something. You can definitely get the Tim Burton vibes from it. And it's also got Shelley Duvall, who we all love. So there's also a cartoon that they did, and that I believe was also Tim Burton, and that was in 2012. We didn't watch that. We just watched the short one. It's like 28 minutes. Yeah. So that's the one you want to search for.
Yeah, they are both Tim Burton, right?
Okay, yeah, I'm almost certain.
So. Okay.
They are, yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Frankenweenie. Love the name. Love the movie.
Okay, so this one was fun because for me, I don't get my husband to watch shows a lot, and he watched this one with me. He was excited. So that was a good viewing.
It's a big moment.
Yeah,
I had no idea this was a short.
I didn't either. I
no
remembered it like once Laura brought it up, but I had totally forgotten about it.
Yeah. So had either of you watched it before this watching?
Yeah, I remember seeing it as a kid. I remember, I think it had been, well, obviously it had been around for a while because I was born after it came out, but it had been around for a while, but they would play it like on the Disney Channel or something. And so when it came out, I always thought that maybe it was older than it was because it's done in black and white, which was not needed at the time because it's 1984. But I think maybe he just did that for, nostalgic vibes or like a nod to classic horror movies, I would guess.
Because even the clothing is kind of ambiguous, like of the era, like you're not really sure. It feels like this was maybe like the 50s. And he even talks about reading a book, Huckleberry Finn. Like, so it makes it feel nostalgic.
Yeah, definitely not the 80s.
Yeah. No, I even wrote down, it's a very Leave It to Beaver vibes.
Yeah.
That you get when you watch this. So
yeah.
So yeah, this will be a shorter episode because there's really not much to talk about. We're going to walk through it and then we'll give you our thoughts on it. So.
Well, my first thought was Bastian. Because Bastian, the character who plays Victor, the little boy in this movie, was Bastian from the Neverending Story, right? Isn't that his name, the main character's name in Neverending Story?
I have no idea.
I don't even know what Neverending Story is.
What?
I have like vague memories of it.
The Neverending Story is one of the best
so young
movies of all time.
Yeah, it's Bastian Bucks is his character name.
And the kid that played in Frankenweenie played Bastian from Neverending Story.
Well, that's cute.
Oh. Yvette, you have to watch it. Okay, when you come to town for Halloween, we should watch Neverending Story. It's got some scary and creepy vibes too.
It's definitely like a intense and kind of dark. Like, I just feel like kids shows used to be a lot more daring.
Yeah.
Probably not for the best. Even this film, like it's dark.
Yeah.
When you really think about it, you're like, oh, geez.
Yeah, I mean, at the very beginning, I mean, we get a little bit of a moment. But I mean, spoiler alert, the dog dies.
Right.
Yep.
So the little boy's name is Victor Frankenstein, and he makes movies. So he shows a movie at the beginning that he made with his dog, Sparky.
Yeah, Sparky.
Yeah,
and it's so cute.
It's called Monsters from Long Ago, starring Sparky.
It's so cute.
It's adorable. Like,
so it's like he puts the dog in little costumes, and this reminded me so much of what I used to make Brianna and my friends do when we were younger.
I thought of this.
That we put we put on little like plays, but then we recorded them of other things we had seen. So after I read, through the Looking Glass, we decided to put on a play of Alice in Wonderland. We put on a play of The Lion King using our pet at the time.
Oh my gosh.
Like
he had an orange cat.
Yeah, we had an
Mhm.
orange cat, and I was playing. I think for this scene, I was playing Rafiki, and so I like had this like. I remember it being this just perfectly done paper Rafiki mask that like I had on my face. I'm sure it probably looked terrible.
We
but
had just
Oh,
hit the
yeah.
boom box to start the music.
we had hit it.
Oh.
We had like made this like fake. We put a blanket over a bookshelf, and then we put all our stuffed animals at the bottom, so it looked like they were all like looking up. And then I walked out to the music, and I held our orange cat up, and we had an audience.
Yeah.
People
Oh, yeah.
came,
I love it.
and the cat freaked out. Which we in practice in dress rehearsal, he was fine.
Well, did you practice with people?
Well, no.
We were amateurs. What can we say?
for the first show, held him up. He freaked out, and so he like tried to get away. And when he did that, he accidentally scratched me. And so we had to take a little intermission because he scratched me like right on my chest, like right through the nip.
Oh no.
Mortified.
Anyway, quick intermission.
Yeah, no, these were not little productions. We went all out. Like we
Oh my
should
gosh.
be
I love it.
in the theater.
There
you
is
know?
video of them. I found the video of the Alice in Wonderland movie. I have not found the home video of the Lion King one, but we got to pull that out someday.
Mhm, mhm.
Oh, I mean, who did? We didn't do like remakes of like stories and stuff, but we would definitely do music videos growing up, where it's like, yep, we'll make our own music video
Nice.
for like
Love
different
it.
songs.
Love it. Now, were you lip syncing other people's music, or were you singing to music in these?
Yeah, this was lip syncing
Nice.
for and then dancing. I don't even know if we were lip syncing. If I'm being honest,
Yeah.
I think there were just moves.
there.
There were just things happening.
I'm sure it was amazing.
So, anyways, so we see that Sparky and Victor have a very sweet relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's outside playing with Sparky. He throws him the ball. Bam. He gets hit by a car.
And I mean, I was so stressed as soon as I saw. I mean, obviously, you know what's going to happen. It's
Right.
a Frankenstein dog, but still, I think he does it a couple times where he throws the ball into the street, and I was like, no. I was like, please stop doing it.
Yes, that's what my husband said, because he was kind of watching in the background, and he was like, what terrible parents. Oh, because I was brainstorming what to do for Psych. And one of the things I was thinking about was like absentee parents or something. Because Jane was like, well, the dad is watching the kid throw the ball directly into the street like twice before then the dog gets hit by a car. He should have told his kid, throw it a different direction.
Yeah. They had a whole lawn they could have used.
But you know what? They were good parents because they gave this dog one hell of a burial.
They sure did.
It was in this pet cemetery of sorts. It was
Mhm.
very dark. Like this was the moment that you were like, "Oh, this is Tim Burton." Like,
So Tim Burton. Mhm.
and he was up on the little hill, and he said goodbye.
Mhm.
I loved all of the pet tombstones.
Mhm.
Did either of you have a favorite one?
I liked the goldfish.
Yeah, I feel like the goldfish was the most memorable for me.
I liked the fire hydrant one, but I then also liked Earl the squirrel, because I just, give me a good rhyme. I liked
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's bereaved, and
Yeah.
the next day he goes to school, and he's in science class, and it's the old frog dissection, except not a dissection,
Yeah.
but I was like, is this an actual thing that people did, like electrify dead frogs?
Yeah, I'm pretty
resurrection.
Laisha was literally just doing that in school.
Oh, okay. Well, then
that was
I don't know where
college.
I've been.
Well, that
I
was
had a-
college.
I had a weird school trajectory, so like I didn't get the traditional.
I don't
I
think I ever
So I never.
dissected a frog. But I remember dissecting a worm.
Oh, you know what? I'm remembering. Did you guys have Mr. Hayes, or was he gone?
Yeah. We had them.
Because I was in the honors, because I was a junior and I had to take the freshman class because I didn't have any science.
Mm-hmm.
So they let me take like the honors one, I think, to feel better about myself. It didn't work. But we had to dissect a shark, like a little shark intestine.
We did dissect a shark. I forgot
It was
because
like
someone got a pregnant shark in my class. So that was traumatizing because you cut in and then it was like, surprise, little shark.
Oh no.
Like, that's how you know that we went to private school, because not a frog, a pregnant shark. Like,
I went to public school and I got to dissect an owl pellet.
Ew.
Oh.
Because owls will swallow a mouse whole and then they like, I don't know, vomit or poop it out. And it's like, they're in the pellet, it's like a full mouse skeleton.
Hate that.
So that's what I got to do.
But I was also really scared you were going to say you dissected an owl.
I know. That's where I thought she was going. I was
Owl
like,
pellet.
damn.
Owl pellet.
So Victor is inspired because he sees that this electricity is like revitalizing this dead frog.
Mm-hmm. And the teacher even says, if we had even more electricity, we can make it do even more. And he's like, all right.
So cue like the most ingenious way to rig up a whole house without either of your parents noticing what you're doing. Because this kid took everything electric in their house and like brought it to the attic and built this like lightning contraption.
I don't think the parents were paying too much attention. I mean, there's like the scene with the mom where she's just laying on the couch on the phone. It's like, did you get everything you needed? It's like, yep. Mm-hmm. It's like walking with like the toaster.
Well, it's like there's even one scene where she gets out of the car and she's just like, I am so tired. I was like, this mom needs a break. Like,
okay, so just while we're talking about the mom, I feel like there's just some really funny moments with her too. So before we were talking about how, he's bereaved before he starts this, he goes to school and has the science experiment. And it's like the classic, kind of the stereotypical scene of someone being sad because they're looking out the window and it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's looking out the window and he's raining, but then the camera pans out and you see, no, he's not raining. It's just the mom is trying to water her garden, but she's distracted. So the hose is going onto the window. And it's just, there's funny moments with the mom.
There's little side moments.
That was so funny.
Mm-hmm.
She also like, as he's like going around like making this stuff, at one point she's makes dinner for him to try to comfort him from being sad about his dog. And so she makes him, she's like, I made you your favorite dinner. And it's like the wrong favorite dinner.
Right.
It's not his favorite dinner.
Well, speaking of dinner, we should talk about what we are I can't say sipping on. That's
Munching?
Incorrect.
You could
what we're slurping.
You could slurp the sauce a bit.
Ew, stop. I thought you were going to say the weenie.
Okay, it's not that kind of podcast.
Oh my God. That's for sexy
Slurping
sips.
the old weenie. Sexy sips.
Yeah, save that for
we
sexy
need
sips.
A sexy sips montage.
We really
At this
do.
point, we do.
We really do.
Okay, so who wants to tell us about what's happening?
Okay, so I'll own it because it was my idea.
Okay.
So the name of the movie is Franken-Weenie, which my brain instantly, like weenie, I go to like teeny weenies or like cocktail weenies.
I thought of dogs, but
no, I thought of cocktail weenies. So, and cocktail is kind of like, cocktails that we sip on. So instead of making a cocktail alcoholic beverage tonight, instead we are going to pair this episode with cocktail weenies. And we could call
somehow this feels like not the biggest leap we've made.
No, we've made much. We've made much bigger leaps.
I feel like the leaps, the ones that are ridiculous, are always mine.
No, like Chucky's melon. Like you somehow thought head melon. That's how we got to that. Like, yeah, no, this is not our farthest reach.
No, this one's pretty good actually.
We could call this one like Franken-Cocktail-Weenie. Or something like that.
Yeah.
So we're just going to do a very simple cocktail weenie recipe. It's only 3 ingredients. All you would need is 1 cup of your favorite barbecue sauce, 3/4 cup of grape jelly, and then 32 ounces, or usually they come in 16-ounce packages. So you'd want 2 of those of cocktail sausages. Like a lot of times the Little Smokies is a good brand.
Are you like aware of what you just said?
What did I say?
Grape jelly?
Oh yeah, you guys, it makes it like a sweet and tangy barbecue. It's really good. Like I've made this before. It's barbecue sauce and grape jelly with the cocktail weenies. It's delish.
I could vomit.
No, you guys, it's really good.
That's not what I expected.
Or you could
I am
make it with like a hot
bewildered.
pepper. You could make it with like a hot pepper jelly, but yeah, you do like a barbecue sauce and then like a jelly, and it's really like this sweet and tangy. It's very good.
Huh.
Okay,
Your
so
favorite.
listeners, I have a thing with hot dogs. I am not a hot dog girl. Like, so this sounds mortifying to me, but
Okay, so if you
I'll
don't
do
want
it for
to
the
do this,
podcast.
just get yourself some little cocktail weenies, put whatever kind of sauce you want, and put them in a slow cooker and serve them with toothpicks
Okay.
or in a martini glass. There you go.
All right, there we go.
That's what we're slurping on.
Get slurping.
Slurping on. No.
Spooky slurps.
Guys, it's a sweet barbecue sauce. Try it. You'll like it.
No, we'll
Spooky
try it.
Slurps.
Spooky slurps.
Anyway, back to Victor.
So what was happening to poor Victor? He was rigging up his thing, and it was a good night for it because it was a storm. Oh well, and we should say first he had to go to the cemetery.
Oh yeah,
Get his little friend back, and like it doesn't look like much in the movie because you don't like see him yet. He's in a sheet, but you just think about it and you're like, oh, that'd be traumatizing. Like,
yeah,
a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, it hasn't been long, but still, even like, a day, maybe 2 days tops is enough to make it not a pleasant experience to smell that animal.
And we get a rainy night with lightning, and he gets them all set up in his little contraption, and he gets his toaster going, and it happens. And at first, he's not sure because, you can't tell, but it takes a few minutes. And then all of a sudden, you see that little tail.
Yeah.
It's very cute.
It's so cute.
Very cute. I really liked all of the nods to the original Frankenstein movie. Just because, they just make him look like this childhood version of the scientist and the lab that he's in. This kid has an awesome setup.
I know.
An attic, and he's got this sunroof that can open where he's sticking up all of his electric contraptions.
Yeah, because Frankenweenie is stitched up in the style of a very Frankenstein vibe, and then he's got the little metal things on his neck.
Yeah,
that he can use as conductors.
I
have to say, I was watching this movie with also my dog, Penny, and she was not okay. She hates when there's dogs on TV. She was very upset about Frankenweenie coming back to life. She jumped down and stood right in front of the TV.
Oh,
I love how your dog watches TV.
She does. You guys, she is a human being. She speaks English. She is she is a human dog. She is my biological daughter.
She really is.
Yes.
Yeah. I loved the style because the style of the dog with the stitches is very much like you see in so many Tim Burton movies.
Yeah.
But my favorite part was that I don't know, maybe this is where Sparky got hit by the car, on his lower back, because there was a giant patch that instead of it being the typical Sparky fur, it was a Dalmatian.
Yeah, it was another dog's fur.
Yeah. I was so wait, he took up some other dog and
don't think about it too much. Don't think about what Victor had to do.
Yeah, they don't show it, so we don't have to think about it. So
it's pretty cute.
And he tries to get away with it for a minute. He tries to stay home from school and, but very quickly he gets out the dog door and upsets the neighborhood.
Well, first of all, the neighbors in this movie are all so nosy. Just mind your own business.
Yeah.
Yeah, then Sparky's kind of terrorizing them, and he's not trying to, but they're all getting scared.
Yeah.
It's not his fault.
No.
The one woman was so annoying and overly dramatic.
With the
Like,
weird hair.
yes, it's like her
It was
Sparky,
cotton candied hair somehow. Like, I don't know,
yeah,
very
yeah,
weird.
it's like the beehive style or
Yeah.
whatever. But it's like the dog, Sparky like ran through and scared her dog, and she said something about, oh yeah, he tried to eat my raiment. She said that line like 18 times in this 27-minute movie. She's like, no, it didn't. It ran by your dog. Get over here. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
So the neighbors go to the parents and they're like,
we should say that. So we've talked about the mom is Shelley Duvall, and the dad, what's he from? Does anyone know? Well, not
he's
'cause he's young.
the DJ guy on Parks and Rec, right?
Whoa.
Or is that not him?
No, I don't think so.
DJ
Think of another
guy?
80s movie with a kid as a star. I'll give you a hint. The character's name, the character he plays is named Marv.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Home
just gonna have to-
Alone. He's one of the bad guys in Home Alone. He's one of the robbers.
Oh,
I was thinking of someone else. Yeah, you're right. He is.
oh, I
Yes,
totally
he's
didn't
very
recognize
young.
him.
Because he looks really different in this.
Well, even Shelley Duvall does. Like,
yeah.
it's obviously
Duvall.
her, but she still looks so
Yeah.
different.
I mean, she has such a distinct look, you know?
Yeah, she does.
But that for it being like this tiny little mini movie, it has so many people in it.
Mhm.
Right?
Like,
I know. I tried looking up like how. I just Googled like how did he get Shelley Duvall in this and stuff. But like, I think because it was one of Tim Burton's like first kind of movies that he made, like there really isn't much known about the production. So he was working at Disney as an animator and like storyboard artist. So like his plan was always work there, make connections to make movies. But I couldn't find much info about the production.
So maybe it was like he had the budget.
I think he just found a way.
A big
like,
name.
You're already in Disney, and you can
I had
find
heard.
people.
I wasn't sure if it was true, so I didn't know if you looked it up too. But wasn't he fired for this?
He was fired for this.
I wasn't sure if that was this one or
So he was working as an animator, storyboard artist, and they wanted him to make just like a short movie that they could show to kids. And the plan was to have it be re-released with, I think, Pinocchio. Like they were going to do kind of like a big re-release and then have this be shown with it. But he made this, and then it came. So they wanted what was back then a U rating. It's like a universal, like, okay for kids to watch, which would be today like a G-rated movie. But it got rated PG, which, you know, kind of makes sense when you think about the topics and how dark it kind of is. And so, and it also tested really badly with kids because kids don't like watching dogs die.
you know,
So Disney was like, hey, you didn't really deliver what we wanted. So like at all, like,
I mean, honestly, like
with this.
I get it.
Like we can't release it. Kids don't like it. It's not rated G.
Yeah.
So they fired him.
I wonder if that's why in 2012 he went back and did a full featured one just to like kind of like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to watch the other one one day.
Yeah. Well, and obviously Tim Burton would go on to be incredibly successful. And so once that happened, Disney was like, oh, hey, we have this short we can release.
Yeah.
So don't worry. They fully capitalized on it after.
This surprises me none.
Yeah.
So the neighbors have alerted the parents, and the parents are like, our dog is dead. What are you talking about? And they're like, no, he's in that house. So the dad is like, I'll go check. And he goes and checks. And I just love like the shot of him opening the attic door and looking in and being like, oh, like his eyes just get really big. Yeah. And he goes out and he's like, no, there's no dog in there, but we have to go. And he gets his wife to come up, and the same thing. Her eyes get really big, and they're like, how is this possible? Like, what happened? And I can't remember. I think we passed it, but there was this one scene where like he brings Sparky some water and they like have a toast. And then he like drinks and the water just comes out of his stitches. Like,
great.
So cute. Oh my gosh.
Like that moment.
Again, cute, but like traumatizing for a kid. Like,
Yes.
like again, Disney wanted something that like 4-year-olds could watch.
Yeah. No, this is a little too dark, I think. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so then the dad is like, I think the neighbors are all upset. They think there's a monster in the neighborhood, but really it's just because they don't realize this is just same old Sparky. He just looks a little different. So if they could get to know him, they would probably change their mind. So that's what he wants to do. The dad.
Yeah, so they have like a neighborhood. They're like, let's have everyone over. So they have all the neighbors over and they kind of let Sparky loose to come out. And he wreaks havoc. It's chaos. People are falling all over because they're freaked out that like,
well, they're panicking.
Dead dog is in their living room all stitched up like a zombie. Like,
and I just
it's not great.
I felt so sad for Sparky because like he is just so sweet at heart, and then all these people are like losing their shit over him being in the room. It's like poor Sparky.
Yeah.
Well,
and then this part is wild. So then there's a chase back. Was this the cemetery or was it somewhere else? It was like a windmill house.
Mini golf. I think it's
it's a mini golf course. Yeah.
That makes sense. So
I
Sparky
have to
climbs
check that
up.
too.
Okay, yeah,
Where
because
are
that I
they?
was like, yeah. So Sparky, climbs up top, and they're all chasing him, and it's like that whole like, in Beauty and the Beast when the villagers like all get together. It's like that kind of like camaraderie,
mob attack.
The mob,
Yes.
yeah.
And then,
yeah.
So this is what I wrote down because this is what I thought. I wrote down, what the fuck? The dude lights the windmill on fire with the kid inside because like Sparky runs into the windmill and the kid goes afterwards. But then my husband pointed out, he's like, no, he didn't light it on fire. He tripped and fell and that lit it on fire. So I rewound it. And sure enough, when you watch it a second time, so I'm curious what you both thought. When you watch it the second time, it doesn't look like it was on purpose. It looks like an accident.
Well, no, but he does still he's there with the lighter out and he hadn't lit it
right
until he fell. But I was like, why would you just be holding your lighter out? Like
to like see in the dark, like a pitchfork or not a pitchfork, like a, well,
I think it was malicious intent.
Right.
Like I thought it was intentional.
I thought so too. I was so upset. I was like, this is the worst part of the movie. But I think, he was just using it as like a light, like a torch. And then
this is probably the scene where Disney was like, no, because it is intense. Like the Sparky saves little Victor. He gets him and he drags him out and everyone's like, oh my gosh, the dog just saved his life. But it's too late because one of the windmill things falls down and he dies by fire.
That's like again. The dog dies twice.
Yeah.
But this time, everyone has changed their tune and they're like, we have got to save Sparky.
Yeah.
So this was Aaron's favorite part. They make like a circle with all their cars.
Their car battery.
And they pop their hoods and they're going to spark them back. Like Sparky was foreshadowing.
Right.
I mean, no, the name was fitting.
I like when they're like, give it more juice. It's like, wait, it's already just hooked up to your battery. What do you mean?
More.
And it works. Sweet Sparky yet again.
He comes back
to life.
Not only that, he comes back to life and he finds love.
Oh, he sure does.
Quickly.
Yes. It's like a cute little poodle.
Yeah, it's like
she's got like the Bride of Frankenstein hair.
Yes, the little hair.
Yeah, I like that nod as well. So
there was just a poodle in one of the cars, and
so it does have a happy ending.
Yes,
because that's the movie. That's the whole thing.
That's it.
But it would be disturbing as a kid for sure.
The dog dies twice.
I know, and once like by fire. Jesus, like.
I do remember when I was young, Tim Burton movies did scare me. Like they always have like sweet messages, but they're such an interesting mix of like cute characters, but really dark characters and topics as well. That I remember some of his movies scared me. I don't remember this one scaring me, but.
Okay, so I have a side tangent, but I nannied and I was with this family for almost 10 years. And the little girl was like just the sweetest child to ever exist. But she could watch The Nightmare Before Christmas and she actually really liked it. Like that one was okay. But my favorite movie was Coraline, and she tried to watch it and it was too scary. She was like, absolutely not. But she used to do this thing where she would like train herself. So she would like watch like 10 minutes of it every day to like be more okay with it so that she could watch it with me.
Oh, that's so cute.
She's graduating high school this year, which is wild. So yeah, that's my Tim Burton story. So sweet.
We might need to do Coraline. It's like not spooky, but it's one of my favorite movies.
I think maybe we should. Like it's a
so
good one.
I rewatched it recently and it's always so good.
I haven't seen it in years. We went the very first year that Laura and Jane lived here, we went as Tim Burton characters. And I was Coraline.
Wait, Coraline's not Tim Burton.
Well, no, I know, but I felt like she had that vibe. Like,
oh, okay, yeah.
Sorry, I should make the correction.
Sorry, so my husband and I went as Tim Burton,
and I don't even remember what my husband was. I don't even know that he dressed up. I think he was just there.
He was there.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I have a confession. I don't think I've ever seen Coraline.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
It's so good.
I've seen parts of it and it looks great, but I've never seen it.
Okay, I think we're doing it.
We have to add it to the list.
Yep.
That'll be a good after we do like a really spooky one.
Yes, like a nice little palette.
Take it back.
Cleanser.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. Frankenweenie.
Frankenweenie.
Yeah.
I loved the film style because it's got like the dramatic, the end scene credit, which I love that. So yeah.
No, the whole style of like the entire short, again, it's a short. It's like less than 30 minutes long, but like it told the story. It told it well. It did a lot of like really interesting things with the way it was shot and like the black and white. Like it was really, I could not whip up a short like this. Like it was
you're
extremely
really
well done.
You're in it immediately. Like it takes a very quick minute for you to like be in the film. So like, yeah, I agree.
It's a good like Halloween, October short. If you just want something to be a little spooky in the background, a little quick, get you in the fall spirit, I think this is really good.
I love that, like, you know, it's definitely got that like spooky fall vibe, but you could tell that they filmed in California because there's just these giant palm trees everywhere. So that kind of clashed with like what I thought the vibe was. So. All right. Well, do we have anything else to talk about?
Do we have sight?
We do.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
Hey, yeah.
Well, just remember, she is not a real doctor. And this is hopefully not a real dog that had to go through this.
Hopefully this dog did not really die twice.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a little bit of some dog psychology.
Well, that's exciting.
So, because there's other topics in this, like kind of I feel like the relationship with the, you know, kind of the absentee parents or that mob mentality or judging people before you know them or just dealing with grief and death of a loved one. But I feel like we've done a lot of that before, but I don't think we've talked about the psychology of dogs.
I don't think we have.
No, can't say we have.
So there's a lot to know. So this is probably going to be longer than the movie, but let's just talk a little bit about the psychology of dogs and the history of dogs in psychology. So being a psychologist, and you know that was my undergrad, that was my master's, that was years worth of doctoral level that I decided to quit. But because of that, I know a lot about history of psychology. But I feel like there's a very famous experiment that happened with dogs that most people know about. Do either of you know what that is? It's like,
I do.
If something gives you a reaction, you might say that it's, do you know what it is?
Pavlovian.
Pavlov's dog.
Yes. So Dogs have been in psychology for forever. So there's the famous Pavlovian experiment. So Pavlov used dogs to kind of talk about his theory of classical conditioning. So basically, he had a dog, and it was either food or a treat. And every time before he gave the dog the food, he rang a bell, then gave the food. And then, so food is a natural, normal stimulus for producing salivation, because dogs see food, they salivate. That's just innate. That just happens. You don't have to learn that. But then he would, bell, then food, bell, then food, bell, then food. Pretty soon, there's no food around. As soon as he rings the bell, the dog salivates. So he takes this previously neutral stimulus and he makes it produce a learned response. Mm-hmm. So then this actually became pretty big in psychology for humans as well. You can associate something that's positive with something that, naturally is just going to be rewarding to someone. And then you can use that as a way to kind of create some learning that you want to see happen. So it's actually kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then there was also Ed Thorndike. He used dogs and puzzle boxes to look into a type of psychology called behaviorism, which I have my mixed feelings on, but in a nutshell, behaviorism it's used a lot in my field, especially with younger people and some people with disabilities. It's a way to focus only on what you see. So you focus on changing behavior in someone, or dogs in this example, by only what you see, and you don't look into anything about what they might feel about it. But it uses a lot of some punishment, but mostly not punishment, mostly just rewards. And it uses rewarding behavior that you want to increase, and not paying attention to what the person might be thinking or feeling, but just based off of what you can see. Did they start cleaning their room more? That means that they've learned. Not versus, are they enjoying it? Are they happy? Things like that. Mm-hmm. Then another notable one is a man, Boris Levinson. He used pet therapy in the 50s. So this is way back in the 50s. And then it had some criticism, but now animal therapy, dog therapy, or therapy dogs, I should say, they're huge. They're around so much, and they can have such a benefit to humans. Mm-hmm. So speaking of that, psychologically, let's talk about how dogs can benefit humans. So what Victor was probably experiencing or losing when Sparky died the first time. So you both have had dogs. Mm-hmm. What are your main things that you think psychologically or just lifestyle the dogs have helped you with?
I mean, she is my soulmate, so there's that. But she is very in tune with me, for better or worse.
Yeah.
Because I think some of my anxiety has, worn off on her. But she is really good at sensing where I'm at and adjusting herself to that.
Yeah.
For better or worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel like they know. They know when you're having a bad day, and it's oh, I'm going to be a little extra cuddly, or I'm going to come say hi, yeah. I feel like they just know.
Yeah. Well, they do. And we'll talk about that in just a minute, some of the traits that dogs have. But yeah, so some of the benefits that they can give to people is they reduce your stress and anxiety. No, sometimes they can cause them too. But overall, petting a dog can lower your heart rate and your blood pressure, and it can alleviate some symptoms of anxiety. And if a dog is around you when you're going through something stressful, it can have a positive effect just on your affect. And dogs will offer that physical reassurance when they can tell that their owners are stressed out. That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
They can help with depression management. So symptoms of that, again, if you're around a dog, it releases those happy mood elevating hormones serotonin and oxytocin and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're just like, a dog is always excited to see you, you know?
Yes.
Like, you get home and it's like, oh my gosh, they're so excited.
There's just something so comforting about that, like continuous love and support. Like they just, and attention, they just always,
Yeah. So much love.
Like for better or worse, it's unconditional for the love they have for humans. So another thing they offer is just that social support, companionship, but they can also increase some of your cognition and your like ability to learn, because like taking care of a dog can kind of teach some structure and routine to people, and then just the benefits psychologically you have with the dog, it can make it that you can learn and remember things better just because you're cognitively in a better place, because you're mentally in a better place. Physical benefits, like you have a dog and you have to walk them. Right. Sure, it's good for the dog, but it's also good for you.
Yeah.
Like it gets you
the walks.
It gets you up. And that's one of the like depression management symptoms. It's, it's really hard to just be in your depression nonstop because you love that dog and that dog loves you. And sometimes that's a wonderful push that you need to just get yourself up. It's not going to cure everything. Still go to therapy, still talk to your doctor, but like it can really help.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I was already mentioning they're used in therapy for all kinds of things. Like we have them, we have a therapy dog in my school district right now. They do wonders for people with PTSD. A cool thing that I saw in just one particular school that I used to work in is this woman. She was like the most beloved kindergarten teacher ever, but she retired and she had this like really, really gentle, some type of a poodle dog. And so at least once a week, but every so often she would just come in and she had a little room and the kids would come in and they would read to the dog. And so it provided them this really good motivation because they just sit there and they cuddle with the dog and sure, they're practicing learning, but really they're wanting to do it because they're getting to go spend time with the cute dog. Which is really cool.
It is.
Do you guys talk to your pets? Because I've always talked to my pets.
I have lengthy conversations.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and here's the wild thing, and Laura can attest to this. A vet can't because my dog will not. My dog is specific and finicky. So Yvette is not one of the chosen people.
No.
Laura is. But like you will just tell her like a human sentence and she understands what you're saying. It's insane. Like so yes, I talk to my dog at length.
Yes. So here's some psychology that dogs have that humans don't. So and we're going to talk most dogs. Like there are exceptions. Like Brianna's dog, for example, absolutely has several diagnoses from the DSM.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like mother, like daughter, she is my biological child.
But so like a lot of dogs just have certain psychological traits. And whether you want to call them psychological or if you want to call them more instinctual, a lot of dogs will do certain things. And it comes from this evolutionary space. Like, a lot of dogs will dig, and that's, they've learned that through, the types of learning behavior we've already talked about. They've learned that they need to do that for their food, but it's a trait that has just kind of stuck. So yeah, they don't have to bury their food. We go to the fancy pet stores and we put them in their silver bowls. Right. And they're like, what?
Yep.
But still they want to dig. And they can be really protective of the people that they love, the people in their tribe. And they can also be protective of their possessions, like especially like food. They're really social creatures. So they bond with humans really well. And whether it's gestures, verbal cues, or just habits, dogs understand humans and humans understand dogs. And they learn socially. And they also have emotional capacity. So this shouldn't be a surprise. I feel like we've kind of talked about the opposite of this in previous episodes, that anthropomorphism, where like we put human traits on things that aren't human. And sometimes it can have a negative effect. which I'm sure we do that with dogs as well a bit, but they do have emotions. They can feel fear, sadness, joy. Brianna's dog, anxiety, like
an unadulterated
Anger,
hatred,
true hatred,
vengeance,
stress. So they have their own emotions, and also it's been proven that exactly like what you were saying, Yvette and Brianna, is they know what you're feeling and will adjust their behavior accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
One difference between human and dogs, though, is dogs yawning. Did you know that could be a sign they're tired, but it also could be a sign that they're like stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
They yawn. They yawn when they're like stressed or anxious. That's one of their signals, which humans is not the same. So I almost wonder if you're just a tired person. Does your dog think you're stressed all the time?
Probably.
Could be.
I mean, they probably pick up cues, right? Like, where it's like, oh, my human does this.
Right.
Right. Because so just like we have body language, dogs have body language. That is their way to communicate to us their psychology. Because for the most part, we don't speak the same language. But yeah, they'll wag their tails when they're happy, or show signs when they're upset. And they also do like vocalizations like we do. But then they also do scent marking, which is a good thing that humans don't do that, because that's real gross.
Mm-hmm.
But they do that to communicate, like, this is my space, or I've been here. So yeah, that's pretty much a little like rundown psychology of dogs. I was going to maybe talk about like why you would bond with a dog, but I think I just want to like let people think about the psychology of dogs.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because we've done enough human psychology.
Mm-hmm.
We need to branch out into other species.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in that field.
We'll just have to do more of the Twilight movies, and then we can talk more about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
There's also a horror movie, and I cannot think of the name now. It's somewhat recent, I think. And it's like this really rich guy, and he's like, oh yeah, like we can go back to my place, but just so you know, I have a dog. And like they go back, and it's like a human in a dog costume.
Yes.
What?
Brianna, you have sent.
Okay, have I sent that to you?
You have sent that preview to me. It looks.
I will look it up, and we may have to add that to like our list, because it looks
so upsetting,
real forked up.
Yeah.
It's almost kind of a little bit like Walrus.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was like, is this like the sequel to Walrus? I
can tell it maybe seems a little bit like this person in the dog suit is wanting to be.
I can't tell from the preview. Better.
Yeah.
So we'll add that one to the list.
We'll have to add it.
Okay. Yes. We'll save more dog psychology for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
Loves it.
Yep. So that's it. That's my psych.
Nice.
Well, I think this is going to be a shorter episode for our little short.
I mean, it's a little short. We're giving you a lot this month, so you are not for naught. You've got a lot to listen to. So here on Spooky Sips, we don't do stars. We do sips. So out of 5 sips, how many are you giving this movie?
I gotta think about this. This falls in the it's not a horror movie,
right?
So you can, I feel like we just rate it whatever score you feel for this one.
Yeah, it's not a horror movie, but it does have some spooky themes, and it has a lot of good characters, and it was an enjoyable film to me. So I really liked it, but it's not a horror movie. I don't know that everyone needs to go see it. I think there's better Tim Horton.
Isn't that the coffee?
There's better donuts out there.
No, Dunkin' Donuts is far superior to Tim Horton.
Oh, you're going to catch some
words.
Heat for that, Laura.
Fighting words.
We might go viral for this.
Tim Horton coffee is better. Dunkin' Donuts food is better. I will stand by that. Anyway,
your boxing gloves on for that one. Here we go.
I lived near Canada for a while. We had both. I went to both, but
Have you said your rating yet?
No, because we started talking about Tim Hortons. Okay. Anyway, I give it a 2.
Nice.
It's not a bad it's not a bad 2. It's just that it's not really what I tend to watch. So that's why it's a good movie, but it's just a 2 for me.
Yeah. I kind of get that. Yeah, it's like even if you're like a really big Tim Burton fan, like there's a lot to watch maybe before you get to this one.
Tim Horton.
The Tim Horton fan. Yeah, I think for me it's like a 2.5 because for a short, it's actually very good. The acting is good. The scenes were all good. The stories, I mean, it's just Frankenstein, but it's fun. I think 2.5.
I agree exactly with you because I mean with both of you, but about like it is very well done. And honestly, like I'm the kind of person when I recommend horror movies, like there is just so much out there that I don't think you should pinhole yourself into one type. So like I would recommend this. Like if you are the kind of person that likes darker, spooky movies, I'm like, yeah, this is a good one to like have in your repertoire. So yeah, I'm a 2.5.
It's so funny because you guys, I was gonna give it a 2.5, but my husband got in my head recently because he was like, my one critique is that you guys give like quarter of sips and half of sips. He's like, just
we've even done
bigger.
like a 2.3 before. We have.
Was that me? I could see that being me. so I wanted to give it a 2.5, but I was like, no, I need to commit. And it's not a 3, so it's a 2.
I think because we do it out of 5, it's okay to go into the halves and the quarter. Like if we were doing it out of 10, that would be ridiculous. Right. But out of 5,
This is a slight tangent, but we've mentioned that we have like data and one of them is a spreadsheet and I'm almost halfway through because we haven't been doing this from the beginning. So I've had to go back so I think I'm up to like 27, episode 27. And what we do is we like list our ratings. So what I've done is I've done the average for the episode. Like what did the episode average get? And even do that like when we have guests. But then I'm also calculating what our average is because I want to see like if we're close or if we're really varied in how we like rate movies.
Yeah. So what is the bell curve and the mean and median mode of all of our ratings?
Which one of us is the meanest? Which one of us gives the lowest score?
Yes. Which one
Honestly,
of us is
I'm not sure.
Like maybe it's just because I'm a nerd, but I'm like, if we could get some graphs,
I would love.
Finish the data and we'll make some graphs.
And we'll
make some love.
Things like
some
that.
Bell curves, you guys.
Yes, of the three of us, this one loves every movie. This one hates every movie.
Yes, exactly. Like that's what I'm trying to find out. Like
you can do a scatter plot of it, and then you can have those outliers, right? Like those ones that just don't make sense with it,
right? Because you rated the episode on 7, the movie 7. You rated it as a 10. So that's screwing up our
That's really messing with the
you gave it a 10
number.
That's an outlier.
That's an outlier for sure. So next time on Spooky Sips, we will be doing The Wailing. This is a South Korean film. It is subtitled and
it is a drastic U-turn away from this movie.
Yeah, there's a lot happening in this film, so just get ready.
Also, make sure you set aside time because it's like 3 hours.
No, it is.
Yes.
It's really long.
It's a long movie.
It's a long. So we really are doing everything opposite from Franken-Weenie.
Yeah.
That we possibly could.
Yeah.
Maybe say Franken-Weenie as a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
Somehow you still haven't watched it.
Yeah. I think that's how you should. Yeah. So if you haven't seen it, get watching, get sipping, and we'll see you next time on Spooky Sips.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Spooky Sips. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you're listening. To stay up to date on all the spooky things we're up to, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at SpookySips_podcast. And if you want to help support the podcast, consider buying us a coffee or really a cocktail. We are completely independent, so every little bit goes a long way to keeping our podcast running and improving. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.